Good morning, everyone. Welcome. I am Minister Ginger London of gingerlondon.com, the Diamond Coaching Academy, and also Greater Works. Thank you so much for joining me on this special session. As you know, we are celebrating Black History Month, and we're doing some special things this month for our fellow brothers and sisters, our African American brothers and sisters. And so this month, we're actually doing free life coach training for African Americans who want to become certified life coaches, certified personal development coaches. So we're going to give you today a little glimpse into the Diamond Coaching Academy, where we we specifically teach on how to help a particular group of people or a person who's in a particular issue of life that's getting in the way of them living a more fulfilling life. And so we're using African Americans because we are celebrating celebrating Black History Month. And of course, you know, as I've been saying for the last few sessions, that as a life coach to Black people, you're going to help them really move forward in life in many different areas of life. And one of the several of the most challenging areas that we have as African Americans is in the area of education, whether it's entrepreneur, whether it's just educating ourselves, period, economic empowerment, and of course also socialization, if you will. And what I mean by that is living productively in our communities and in society. How do we help African Americans live a more fulfilling life, a life full of purpose and meaning and significance? It's not that we don't have that. Unfortunately, sometimes we do have a lot of self-doubt in our lives. But if we go back historically and we look into our culture, we look into our history historically, and we see all of the legendary milestones that have been made in the African American community, we should not have as much self-doubt as we do in our community. Unfortunately, we do. But a part of being able to get over that is being able to look back, being able to read and watch historically what has taken place in our culture, and then reframing our thinking, not only about ourselves, but reframing our thinking about each other. What do we believe about other African Americans? And that will help us to dispel some of our own self-doubt, and certainly we can build a community of trust once again, a amongst each other. And we've lost some of that trust, but we can certainly get that trust back. And so I just want to encourage you as we go through this mini teaching, I called it. It's like a little glimpse into a Diamond Coaching Academy training. I just want you to really think about who you are, where you are in life, and if God is calling you to help the advancement of African Americans, and if so, can you do that successfully through life coaching? And so we're going to take a look at that briefly, and we're going to dive right into the class. We're going to get right into it. And so if you have paper and pen close by, if not, come back and watch the replay so that you can mull over this and glean from it what can help you, especially if you are a leader, especially if you are a people helper, especially if you're in the service industry, if you're already a coach and you're servicing African Americans, and some of these issues are may come up, or you're thinking about it, or if you're in ministry and you're saying, with everything that we're going through right now in these unprecedented times, how can I help people, especially African Americans, move forward even in the midst of this pandemic, in the midst of these trying times? How can I empower them, motivate them, educate them to move forward in life, sustain their lives, not give in, not give up, and not just bevel down to mediocrity just because something is going on in the country? How can you still be productive as an African American citizen and let your light shine before men, that they can see your good works? And so let's get right into it. I'm going to share a presentation with you. Give me a moment to get it set up, and then we're going to get right into it. All right, here we go. So again, we're talking about Black people helping Black people, and the topic today is stopping self-doubt, right? And so this is life coaching for Blacks. It's a glimpse into the Diamond Coaching Academy's one of their courses. And so I want us to look at this, and I want us to think about being African Americans and what we've seen in our own lives, what we've seen in the lives of our family members, what we've seen in the lives of other African Americans maybe that we work with, that are in our communities, that we socialize with at different events. When we were going to events, what is it that we recognize amongst us as African Americans? So with everything that's going on in our lives, why do we insist on being our own worst enemies? And if you are honest about what we do in the African American community, sometimes we are our own worst enemies. We do that with things that we repeat, things that we say to one another, things that we say about each other, the things that we say about our communities, the things that we say about our behaviors, or our fellow brothers and sisters' behaviors. We say it about, we hear about things in the news, or we hear about things on our jobs, or things in society. And sometimes one of the first things that we say is, I bet it was somebody Black. And we don't have a clue that is a Black person. I know just talking to people, even during this pandemic, I went to a professional office for an appointment, and I was talking about, people not wearing the mask, and, they're not wanting to, adhere to what we're being asked to do to stay safe. We were talking about that and dialoguing about that, and one of the first things that was said was, I bet you it's Black people not wearing masks, right? So it's a lot of people, different people not wearing it. But we are sometimes our own worst enemies, and some of that comes through what we say to each other, what we say about each other, what we say in reference to our communities, and we have to reframe our conversations. Yes, we as Black people do make a lot of mistakes. We do do some certain things, but so do other groups of people. And I know we know our people better than other people, but we can't continue on with the typical things that are said about us and perpetuate some of that. What we need to do is to re-educate and reframe our conversations so that we're speaking better about each other and better about ourselves. Second, we already navigate, as Black people, we already navigate toxic relationships. We navigate jealous colleagues on the job. We and sometimes we have to navigate through people who don't believe in us, because it all comes back to, what do you think about black people? And even though you are black, what are you saying about them? What do you believe about them? So we already have to navigate through a lot of things in issues of life already. What we don't need to be navigating through is self-doubt, right? So we always have a lot. So why do we decide on doubling down on all of that negativity by doubting ourselves, right? And I'm talking about, well, along with, I'm talking about the community as, at large, but inside of our community, we have people who are well educated. We have people who are gifted. We have people who are talented. We have people who are skilled. We have people who have experience in many different areas. And when you talk to them sometimes, even in all of that accomplishment, there is still some self-doubt that gets in the way of them experiencing the success in life that they're supposed to experience. Self-doubt creeps in and it stagnates them at a particular place in life, and they don't go any further in life. And so why do we decide on doubling down on all of that negativity by doubting ourselves? And that's a question we have to ask ourselves as African Americans. And that's a question, if you are a people helper, if you are called to the ministry of helps, if you are called to just helping people in life, maybe discover their purpose, advance in life, move forward in life. Maybe you're servicing already in ministry or in some type of maybe counseling or therapy or psychology. Maybe you're already doing something where you're helping people. This is a good question to put forth people who come in and they have self-doubt. With everything that's already that you have to navigate through, why do you decide to double down on all of that negativity by doubting yourself, right? So you're dealing with all of that, but when you self-doubt, you're making it even worse, right, in your life, right? So how many times has self-doubt held you back from taking a chance, right, from launching a business, applying for a promotion on a job, going out and working in the community to help other people, right? How many times has self-doubt held you back from taking a chance? We can't control the world around us, but we can control ourselves. And sometimes we're sitting at home when we should be out there making a dent in the world, right? Making a landmark in our communities. We don't do it because we think people won't receive us, won't accept us, won't listen to our teaching, won't buy our products. Be wondering, who do we think we are? There's so many different variances that come into play when you're talking about self-doubt and how it holds a person back. If you want to nip self-doubt in the bud, I'm going to give you 9 tips this morning on how you can actually do that. I want you to take notes, especially even if you're not in the helping industry and you have a lot of conversations with your friends, your coworkers, your family members, and you're always encouraging, always talking to them about believing in themselves and trusting God and not giving in to the naysayers and stop listening to the haters. The many different ways we describe it. And when we're talking to someone, when we're trying to push them and help them to come out of self-doubt and believe in themselves. And so number 1, here we go. Acknowledge the doubt, right? There's no benefit in ignoring self-doubt. You got to acknowledge the self-doubt. If you don't, you're only deceiving yourself. And that is self-deception is the worst kind of deception. You want to make sure that you acknowledge the doubt. Make sure that you're not in denial about it, but you know that this is what it is, and you need help in overcoming it, or the person that you're working with needs help with overcoming it. You got to recognize it. So you need to recognize when you're experiencing self-doubt and then acknowledge it. This is the first step to dealing with it, right? You can't, well, no, I'm not, oh, no, I believe in myself, and then, deep down on the inside, you don't believe in yourself. And it's going to show, because the actions that you take will show. When you don't do anything, when you don't do what you say you're going to do, when you don't apply for the job promotion, when you don't open the business, when you don't speak up, when you know something, when you're afraid to acknowledge that you're gifted, that you're well versed in something, or you have a lot of knowledge about a particular thing, it shows up, right? You say you believe in yourself, but when self-doubt is in the way and it's hindering you from moving forward, it shows up in your actions. It shows up in actually what you do. Number 2, write your doubts down, right? A great way to acknowledge your self-doubt and to begin addressing it is to write it down. Journal them. Get your journal, right? Journal your self-doubt. This is going to allow you to get them out of your head, and helps you to spot any patterns or triggers that may be causing it to take place. So, I tell you all the time, write everything down, journal everything, schedule everything, write it down. Even though it's self-doubt, get it out of your mind on paper. Look at it. Take a look at it and then say, I need to find a way to deal with this self-doubt. I need to overcome this self-doubt. Here are the things that are getting in the way of me, that I'm doubtful about, that's getting in the way. What I believe about myself is getting in the way of me being successful in life. Then number 3, stop making excuses, right? No more making excuses. One of the most common ways self-doubt manifests is when you start making excuses. So have you ever caught yourself saying something like, I can't do this because? And then you come up with all these reasons why you can't do it. Now, I'm not talking about a bona fide no, right? Or when somebody asks you to do something and you have to say no to what they're requesting of you to do. I'm talking about something that you know that you're supposed to be doing in life. But this statement right here comes up. I can't do this because. And you have all these reasons why you can't do it, why you're not moving forward, right? It gets in the way. You need to actively try to squash that excuse out, the excuses out that pop into your head. I know it isn't easy, but try to keep in mind the next time you find yourself making an excuse. You got to get rid of the negative thoughts. You got to get rid of the negative talk, and you got to replace it with something. So you got to reframe your thinking, and you got to reframe your conversations. Right? If you don't do that, the same thing is going to happen in your life over and over again. So you want to stop making excuses, and you want to stop saying, I can't do this because, right? Number 4, catch them quick. Self-doubt is a sneaky kind of feeling. It creeps in on you. Quite often, the more you think about it, the worse it gets, right? So this is why you got to catch your self-doubts quickly, right? Take a moment, take a time period where you're dealing with just self-doubt, right? I say schedule everything. So if you know you have to get on your face before God to talk, to deal with this self-doubt, you may want to schedule some devotional time where you're actually praying, studying the Word of God, and then praying and seeking the answer from God on how to overcome this, right? And mapping out a strategy, a plan for your own life on how you're going to overcome self-doubt. Once you notice that, once you notice you doubt yourself, try to flip your inner dialogue immediately to more positive, something more positive about your life. The Word of God says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So when you start changing the way you feel about yourself, the way you feel about and being an African American, the way you feel about Black people, then when that changes, when that internal change occurs genuinely, then what you say is going to change, and then your perception is going to change, because your thinking will change, right? As a man thinketh in his heart. That's what I'm thinking about as well. So man thinketh in his heart, which is also synonymous with mind. So is he. So the more you think self-doubt, the more you're going to doubt yourself. If the more self-doubt you put out towards African Americans, the more you're not going to believe in them being capable of doing anything, regardless. You know what I'm saying? I know you've heard it, because I've heard it. I've heard people say, I don't do business with Blacks. It's something that they heard somebody else say. You don't do business with Blacks, but you don't have a problem with doing it with Orientals. And they watch every move you make when you walk through the door. You don't do business with Blacks, but you don't mind going to the beauty salon, the beauty supply store where an Iranian owns it, and he's also watching every move you make in there. And he's charging you what he wants to charge you, and you're paying it, right? So we got to get away from the things that we say about African Americans and what we say about the success of other African Americans, and what we won't do, right? You don't want to do business with them, but then when you do business with them, you want to bargain them down so they don't earn hardly anything from having done business with you. But you're not negotiating with another group of people. You're not questioning their prices, right? So you got to change that inner belief that you have about African Americans and about Black people. Because every time I look in the mirror, I'm Black. I can't pass for white, nothing. I'm Black. So I make sure that my mindset is a whole different mindset about Black people, right? So you want to catch your self-doubt thoughts, quickly. Again, number 6, reframe failure, right? One of the biggest reasons people doubt themselves is the fear of failure, right? So you don't want to try something new if you think you're going to fail at it or if it's going to lead to disappointment. And so you got to reframe failure, right? Nobody wants to fail, but you have to reframe failure. What do you think about failure, right? You need to reframe it. It's not necessarily a bad thing, especially if you know how to go in and dissect and learn from the failure. Then it can be a good thing, right? No one wants to fail at life. So if you try something and you fail and you just have to learn the lesson from whatever happened, what was it that caused you to fail? That's the lesson, right? The lesson is not I fail. The lesson is what caused me to fail. I need to go back into that, look back over it again and dissect it and say, what went wrong here that caused me to fail in this particular venture, right? This particular goal that I had. Maybe I wanted to apply for a promotion on my job, but I didn't get it, right? Because maybe something wasn't right on the resume, or I didn't speak well enough, right? Or I was too afraid to acknowledge that I knew the job well, right? Because in the back of my mind, because old school thoughts, old school seeds that were planted, if you let them know you know too much, you might lose your job. So you know what? All that creeps up on you when you become an adult and you're working and you're not keeping up with the times that you're living in. And so you're wondering why you're not succeeding. And sometimes it could be a result of this old tape that's playing in the back of your mind, and you've now allowed it to come to the forefront of your life. And so you have to get in here and say, you know what? If I do fail at something, I need to glean from that failure, look at what took place that caused me to fail. What is the lesson that I learned in that, right? And then when I take that lesson and redefine that lesson so that I don't fail at that again, then what has happened, it becomes a powerful lesson that I've learned. Just because a person has experience or they failed at doing something doesn't mean they learned anything. Learning is intentional. So you have to purposefully go into the failure venture, glean out what was important, and that what's important is what caused the failure. And then when you learn that, then you go in and you reshape that lesson so that you don't repeat it again, but now you can propel it to move you forward in life. That is when it becomes powerful. Number 7, forget about what people think, right? I know what other people think is important towards us in some areas of life, and to some degree, we can't block them out 100%. You know, it's important. We have certain people that we really want them to have good thoughts about us. You know, your family, your friends, certain coworkers, people you have built and established a relationship with. You want your reputation to be well spoken of, right? So, but there are some times where you got to forget about what people think, right? Another reason why we doubt ourselves is we worry a lot about what other people think, right? We worry about if we're looking silly to them, right? Right? But even if you look silly at what you're doing, or maybe they don't understand what it is you're doing with your life, or don't understand what you're doing at this moment, don't worry about it, right? Who cares about that, right? I can help you understand later, but right now, I got to move forward. I have to do this, right? So the reality is people are so busy sometimes in their own lives that they aren't really thinking about you so much, right? So we worry a lot about what they're thinking, but with everything that's going on right now, people are really thinking about their own lives. So focus on what you and your closest loved ones think and ignore the rest of the people. Even in, I don't know, maybe, you know, you've been around like me. I've been around people in this, even in this pandemic, because, you know, character is intentional change, right? If I want to be a better person, if I want my character to be different, that's intentional. I intentionally do something to refine myself so I become better. But you have a lot of people, you know, it doesn't matter, it's a pandemic. They're going to still be doing this. They're going to act the same way, think the same way, talk the same way. They don't care. They're just going to be themselves, as they say, right? You got to ignore those people. You got to keep moving forward, keep pressing forward for what it is that you know that you're supposed to be doing. Number 8, immerse yourself in positive material, right? We have a lot of positive material in the African American community. Don't let people fool you. Again, go way back in your mind. Somebody planted that seed. Black people don't read. You don't want them to know something, put it in a book. All that crazy stuff, right? Black people do read, and black people write books. So immerse yourself in positive material. It's self-doubt is often a symptom of a generally negative attitude. You want to empower yourself? Read some good writings by African American writers. Read some good self-help materials by some of your African American writers. A great way to deal with it is to immerse yourself in positivity. You got to do that. You cannot. Uh, uh, if you're doubting yourself, it's important that you empower yourself and infuse yourself with with positivity. I'm not talking about going overboard where you're not real about life and what's going on in life. We can be so positive that we are not paying attention to what's really going on in life. You can speak a whole lot of positive things, but if you don't learn how to manage your emotions, you're not going to do well. With all of that positive stuff you're speaking, if you don't learn how to manage your emotion and gauge your life through every issue of life and different feelings in life, you're not going to do well. So find sources of positivity, whether it's a book, a video, take a walk outside, depending on where you live, maybe take a stroll through your neighborhood, especially if you're living in an African American community. Take a stroll in your neighborhood. Look, walk down the street to the end, come back, go the other way. Look at your neighborhood. Sometimes, I drive through the neighborhood that I grew up in just for reflection purposes and just to remember, because the house I grew up in is still standing, and it is still owned by my family. So I drive sometimes through the neighborhood just remembering we lived here, so and so lived across the street, these people lived, this family lived over here, and we all knew each other, right? Down the street, we'd meet up on the corner and hang out and play. We played softball in the street, all that kind of stuff. And then we'd go in the backfield and play softball, So sometimes I drive through the neighborhood just to self-reflect and just to remember, where I'm from and what am I a part of, right? So that's a great way to kind of help you get rid of those negative thoughts and get rid of that self-doubt, So you want to make sure, get some good materials, in your life. Now you can go to YouTube, almost anything, right? And so now, even on Facebook now, you can find videos just about on anything, call it Facebook Watch. Go in there and stream and search, see what's there, and find those things. Find those historians, right? Those Black historians who have videos now on YouTube that talk to you about our culture, talk to you about our people and the strength and the resilience that we have as a people. Find those videos and empower yourself. Find videos that give you the historical background of an African American person that made it through troubling times, right? And they were overcomers. Find those videos and empower yourself. And again, if you have negative thoughts about Black people, change your thinking about Black. And then number 9, learn something new, right? One of the best ways to address your doubts is by learning a new skill, right? You can choose to learn new skills that directly address your self-doubt, but learn something in general will overall boost your optimism, right? Doesn't necessarily have to be learning about something negative you're trying to overcome. Empower yourself with just some general optimism, right? Find something that you're just interested in, right? And learn something new. It's never too late to learn a valuable skill, right? Some people like crafting. Some people like, ceramics and all those kinds of things, crafts. Some people, like being able to put stuff together for other people. Some people like to create an atmosphere for events for people. They're good at that. They're planners. They're, the event planners. They can decorate well. Some people like flowers. They can make flower arrangements from real flowers to artificial flowers. Find something that you would be interested in and that will teach you, that will empower you to learn a new skill. And so on that note, I'm going to briefly tell you about what's coming up. So I want to first encourage you to take action, right? Remember to start a self-doubt journal if that's where you are in life, and you need to do that. Maybe you're strong in your spirit in certain areas. Watch this. But you still have some negative things that you say and believe about African Americans. So you may want to start a self-doubt or a African American doubt journal, right? And you got to get that stuff out your system and reframe what you believe about African Americans. I'm just going to say it. None of us are any better Blacks than anybody else. Don't fool yourself. Sometimes we get caught up. We're like the only black in the office, only black in the group. Our friends are all white or there's something else, and we think we're a different kind of black, because we're the only black around that, and we think that we're better than the other blacks, or we're different than the other African Americans. Not true, right? So don't get all puffed up in your head. That's a whole lot different than be thinking of yourself more highly than you ought to think. It's different than just having great thoughts, good thoughts about yourself, right? And having a good self-esteem. That's different. And I don't ever want to look in the mirror and think that I'm a different kind of black, or that I'm better at being black than any other African American. So my goal is to not put African Americans down. I deal with every issue at one thing at a time. But if you really want to know about the general characteristics of our culture, you got to do a little research. You can't go back off of that old school stuff that somebody put into your spirit long ago and you just keep repeating it, right? You got to do a little research about that. So start your journal. Then answer the question, what makes you feel optimistic? Find different things to help you feel more optimistic in general. Again, you want to embrace whatever can kind of quiet those negative thoughts you may be having or you are having. And then you want to learn a new skill. I encourage you, if you are strong and you have a desire to see African Americans move forward in life and to become better in life, in business, in ministry, in their careers, in their family units, being a better family group, whatever it is, I want to encourage you to become a life coach for blacks, right? If you know that you want to help other people move forward, right? And maybe you've been afraid because maybe you do have a skill, maybe you do have a knowledge base that needs to be shared with the world. But for some reason, you doubt if people will listen to you, doubt if you can do it. Somebody has told you, oh, you're not that good. They've said all kind of negative things to you. So you haven't done it. You now have self-doubt in thinking that you think you're not even capable of doing. But you know deep down on the inside that you are gifted, that you have a skill set that should be shared with the world, can even be monetized to help other people. So I want to encourage you to do that. So I want to invite you to Black People Helping Black People. It's a free basic life coach training that I'm offering. It's 3.5 weeks where we come together for 3.5 weeks and learn the basic life coaching things. It's March the 12th through the 1st. It is free. Don't miss this. It is free. That's my gift for Black History Month back to the community. I'm going to offer this. So no more making excuses. No more sitting around talking about, I want to help people, but, I want to help African Americans, but, I want to help, but. No more buts. It's now time to equip yourself, or if you're already equipped, to maybe add another dimension to what you're already doing. So Blacks Helping Blacks Life Coach Training. It's a great opportunity to dismantle the myth and at times the belief that blacks won't help other blacks. That is not true. If that were true, it's true in some respect, but it's not true as a generalized thing for black people as in general, as a whole, as a group of people as a whole. If it were true, we would not be where we are today in America. We would not be where we are, and we would not have some of the historical landmarks and legendary history that we have if that were true. Because some of the things that we have as legends and historical landmarks is because black people came together and helped black people, right? So we want to dismantle that belief that blacks won't help blacks. So again, it's 3.5 weeks, March 12th through April the 1st. Once you complete it, you will actually become a professional. Let me slow down. You will actually be a professional development coach. You could put any other adjective in front of coach that you want. It could be professional life coach, professional personal development life coach, personal development business coach, personal development recovery coach, whatever kind of coach that you want. This training is taking place on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 7:30. And as I said, if you heard the first information video on this, be prepared to spend about 90 minutes with me on each night. When I took a night course at Southern University, Historical Black College, those night courses were 90 minutes, right? Twice a week. They were 90 minutes. So be prepared to do that. There are two ways to register for the free training. One is the basic training is absolutely free. You don't have to. All you have to do is register for it, and you just show up on the Zoom, and you take your notes. Right? You're gonna create a plan of action. You're gonna start your own transformation, and you're gonna get ready to help others with their coaching transformation. So it's a great way to test the waters, if you will, to see if this is something that you would like to do. It's free. The free version, all you do is register. So you take your own notes. I will give you some worksheets, but you won't get like the full course manual and all those things. The second way to register is to register for the training with the course materials. That's only $97. So when you do that, you get everything that comes with the basic training, but you'll get the course materials. That's a 98-page training manual. You're going to get worksheets. You're going to get the coaching business forms that you can use in your coaching business or your coaching ministry. So you're going to get the things that'll help you get started right now. So that's only $97. Regular is $697. So and there is a payment plan available if you need that. You're also going to get access to the Diamond Coaching Academy private Facebook group, and you have lifetime access to that. So briefly, here we go. Here's what's going to happen in 3 weeks. Week 1, we're going to talk about you, the coach. We're going to talk about the whole mind, body, and spirit life coach, right? You'll learn how the transformation happens in the lives of people and how to self-coach your own personal transformation before coaching others in theirs. Also, you're going to learn in week 1, you're going to learn how to become aware of your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions in every situation and setting. It goes back to what I said. What is your philosophy about Black people, about African American? What you believe about African American is how you're going to service them. So you might have to reframe your thinking if you want to service African Americans. On session 2, which is Thursday, we're going to be talking about how to release your true potential, right? You'll learn your connections, how to take your thoughts and your experiences, bring them together so you can examine if you have any doubts and fears that is robbing you of your confidence to make a difference in the earth, to make a difference in the world. I want you to know you're a miracle, so you will learn you are a miracle. You're going to discover how to tap into your inner strength to help you come out of your comfort zone, to take more risk, and to live more fully. Week 2 is going to be coaching basics and coaching conversations. I don't want to teach you how to coach and about coaching if you don't know how to deal with what's going on with you. So week 2 is when we get into the coaching stuff. Coaching basic, coaching conversations. You're going to learn the basics of the life coaching profession, and you're going to learn 2 transformational coaching models, right? And you're going to learn the essential set of skills you need to be a great coach. You also learn what make people think tick. You're going to clearly decipher why people do what they do, why they say what they say, why they respond the way they do to your words, and then why they don't do what you say or you don't do. You're going to learn a little bit about human behavior. That's important. You don't know what a man is thinking. If you don't know why he's doing what he's doing, one of the ways to know it is to get into his mindset, right? So whatever he's thinking is causing him to do what he's doing. So if you want him to do something different, you're going to have to re-educate him, help him to change his thought patterns so that he can not do something different. Session 2, which is on Thursday, is about coaching conversations. Every coaching conversation should be a dynamic one that moves forward, right? So you're going to learn about the 5 C's of the Diamond Coaching Conversation and how to effectively navigate your client, whether you're on a job, maybe you're the leader on the job, and so you're going to use this to enhance your corporate coaching skills, your executive coaching skills, if you will. So how does this conversation, if I'm coaching you through something on the job, how can I go through this? How do I navigate through this diamond coaching conversation so that when we come on the other side of this conversation, you're ready to help us meet the goal in the business or the company. Week 3, we're going to be talking about coaching business and coaching programs. We're going to be talking about how to structure your sessions, how to your services, how to price your services. We're going to also be talking about how your gift can make room for you. How do you create coaching programs with the gifts and abilities God has empowered you with? You'll learn how to choose the right coaching model based on your gifts and on your talents so that you're servicing the people you are assigned to. Okay, service everybody. But the ones that you are assigned to, how am I going to structure what I'm supposed to be doing for them in a program so that they can learn from me, right? I got to bring this in a structured setting type thing and not just be talking off the top of my head. People learn through following steps and systems. And then on Thursday are coaching programs. You're going to learn how to position your own unique style of coaching with the right rates and the right fees. And you're going to learn how to create signature programs. How do you create your live streams? How do you create coaching groups? Awesome, awesome, awesome thing of groups right now. You don't want to miss that part of being able to help people. So then in week 3.5, if there's such a thing, um, we're going to be doing practice coaching and coaching labs. Practice coaching is going to be on that Tuesday night of the last week. And then this is where the entire session is dedicated to practice coaching. You're going to partner with a fellow coach, and you're going to be the client. And on one coaching session, another coaching session, you're going to be the coach, right? You got to practice this. You got to get it done. You heard me say when I was in seminary, we had to do practice preaching. You know, all semester long, we had to come up with sermons and get in front of our classmates and preach those sermons and hear their feedback. You know, as great as we thought the sermon was, when we preached it, it may not have been that great, right? And so they gave us feedback. So here's where you're going to practice coaching. You're going to get feedback from fellow coaches. And then a bonus session is going to be Thursday. It's the coaching lab. This is where you come in with your questions and answers about your Q&A session for the entire 3 weeks we've been spending together, along with designing your business, your coaching business, coaching ministry, and your programs on the spot. Whenever I do this training, nobody misses this, because here is where we take what you want to do and map it out, and all you have to do is fill the meat. So I give you the bones, but you got to put the meat on the bones. So I help you with that, so that you don't feel like, wow, okay, I went through this training, now what do I do? No, by the time you get to the end of the training, you will know what you should do. You probably will be doing some of it, right? And people will know that you're coming with this with coaching. So again, it's March 12th through the 1st. Blacks Helping Blacks Life Coach Training. Don't miss it. You have until February the 28th to register for the Life Coach Training. Don't miss it. The registration links are in the description of this Facebook Live or this streaming live. You might be on Periscope. You might be watching me on YouTube Live. You know, all the different platforms at one time. So no matter what platform you're watching me on, the description, except I think Periscope doesn't have it, but the description is actually in the write-up. I mean, in the description of the stream is actually the links where you can go and take a look at the 2 ways that you can register. Take a look, click on the link for the free registration, look at that, take a look at that, then go back and take a look at the one where I talk about what you're getting if you decide to pay the $97 for the course materials. So it's going to be a blessing no matter what. Because it's free, I'm not going to shortchange you. If you were paying for it, I would give you everything. The only thing you don't get in free is the course materials, right? But you're going to get the actual training. I'm not going to water it down. I'm not going to condense it, minimize it per se. I'm going to give you the training, right? So when I do this in integrity. If I offer it free, I offer it free. Don't miss it. But I'm going to operate in integrity. So I'm not going to shortchange you with the training. You have to come prepared to do the work and to actually be trained. So when you come, you have to have made up in your mind for the next 3 weeks or so, 3.5 weeks, Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm committing to showing up for this Zoom training, live Zoom training, and actually getting in here and really developing myself to become a life coach. So don't miss that opportunity. I did it late, kind of late in the evening. 7:30 is a little late, but I did that so that if you have to come back home, if you're working and you have to come home, get everything settled, you still have kids at the house and got to quiet everything down, or you just want to breathe, from coming from work, then you will have a couple of hours in there before you have to log on, and then you get a chance to relax your mind and then refocus your thinking on actually the coach training. So thank you everybody for joining me. God bless you. Take care. Don't forget to register. I'm excited about it. So God bless you. Take care, everybody. I'm Minister Ginger London. Have a great and awesome kind of day.